your expectations and doesn't induce much irritation. It's much to realize you indeed exhausted the problem. So, who we are, what are we doing? We are in the composite chemistry course to model properties of materials, molecules. There are ways in nature of electrons and nucleus. We split in electron equation degree of freedom, and we focus on the electronic degree of freedom. There is a big challenge that amount of electronic degrees of freedom is so large that molecular Schrödinger equation is not possible to solve for anything bigger than like 4 atoms. And the first theory that we are going over is so-called Hartree-Fock theory that is based on several concepts. We are going through these concepts one by one. I appreciate your passions in going through them, and it will be much more fun at the later stages. So we just come through the very. It's not like a Born-Oppenheimer approximation in a level of complexity. It's a little easier, but we are running on marathons with concept by concept by concept. But later on, it will be easier. So by now we have completed this mean field where all except one electrons create force, right? To repel electrons. And you probably remember the anti-symmetry principle, so that by swapping electrons, the sign of the function changes. This is expected to bring the so-called exchange interaction that stabilizes the system. Where are we going? What is when we will stop this subject? Because I understand that it takes a lot of energy to go over, and we probably want something more fun soon. There will be this one, then on Tuesday, theoretically intense, last theoretically intense lecture for this chapter, and then on Thursday, coming Tuesday, there will be very easy just analysis of outcome of the Hartree-Fock theory. In some sense, it is what you are already doing in your homeworks. And then you will do presentations. When we meet in the lab tomorrow evening, I will need your final votes on what you want to present. I hope you already developed some ideas. We will make sure that there are no conflicts. Several people want to do the same subject. I will try to convince and find something more easy. So when we will meet in the lab tomorrow, we will do images like this from electrical orbitals, and I think it is most fun part of the whole course. At least if I would be, if I need to make presentations in this class as a student, I would select from the orbitals. So we got anti-symmetry. Oh, here is a little chart. I was thinking about the class and you during the travel, and thought that too many information needs a little bit organization and connection. So where we are, and so this boxes are concepts and circles are numbers of lectures. So we are in number 13, and by number 14, basically we will have everything. Complete understanding of principles of Hartree-Fock theory. You can either go into more properties and applications or start from theory. You may have, well,
disable. So we started with Slater determinant. Then we had this hocus pocus words with theorem and practical operators. Then we discussed the mean field concept and variation of theorem. And today we need to focus once again on the Coulomb and exchange parts of the alternate direction that originates from Slater determinant in application to one alternate operator. You remember monster operator that is half operator, half number, a partial solution. And by combining the variation of theorem and the stuff that we will do today, there will be an algorithm that a programmer looks no more difficult compared to geometry optimization. So it will be very similar, just multi-dimensional search in specific space. But if you would be really squeezed in time, you can want to present this theory in one lecture, but then the concepts will be like washed out from brains immediately. At least it happened to me when I was in. So we are discussing intermediate subjects. So Slater determinant, how to construct a multi-electron wave function as a product of one electron wave function. So concept of NP, that new electron jumps into space free of other electrons if we ionize, remove all electrons, and then return them to the molecule one by one. Wheel of fortune game, expectation value, making expectation value with respect only to one electron, one while keeping no information with respect to another one. And this is one electron equation acting on electron 1, creating background field from electron 2. And in the real molecules, it will be electrons 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. But instead of having an unknown argument as multi-electron function, here this unknown argument is as one electron. In some sense, this is already almost a first place. Let's say it is a hard place. The only thing is to carefully add the antecedent. And if you would invest not 1 month, but like 1 year in it, there are examples that one takes a molecule, computes everything without antisymmetry, and it will lead to some unnatural results like H2 molecule decompose in pieces immediately unstable. So to stabilize, to have more attraction from inside. So, and no matter is it first or second electron, mathematical shape of this equation is the same. On Thursday, in 2 days, we will slightly modify this equation, kinetic energy, attraction to nucleus, and electron interaction. We will modify this equation and we will start calling it Hawke equation instead of Schrödinger. But it's a little too variation principle is that if you already have ideal wave function that gives minimum of energy, then you try to corrupt it, slightly modify it, energy will always grow. This gives a criterion for improvement. Okay. I feel myself like a cup with water that I need to deliver before splashing it because it's too much information. So we are working on finding one electron molecular orbitals which are composed of one electron atomic orbitals localized in certain ion. And the only thing that we can modify are these expansion coefficients. So we add together atomic orbitals, and they're used as a basis, similar to Fourier transform or differential equations, to find the molecular orbitals. You
have been already exposed to this thing on the lab in last Wednesday. I quickly connected without disclosing my identity and was watching part of the meeting. And I remember Dr. Han was instructing me to take the basis 1 of DBZ. And in the drop down menu, there are several bases. So it is how to select optimal and comfortable functional form for this atomic functions. So you are already practicing this equation, maybe not realizing it. And probably the last thing that we did last Thursday when we had this online electronic meeting, we were evaluating electron-electron interaction as a matrix element between Slater determinants. So Slater determinant on the left, on the right, and in between all interaction. And two terms here, you can infer one can split in 4 terms or 2 groups of terms. One will be plus and plus, minus and minus, positive term, which will give repulsive interaction, and another plus times minus, minus and plus, which will give attractive. Okay? So those are so-called Coulomb and exchange, which is extremely important to predict real properties of molecules of material. Without this antisymmetry and exchange terms, most of the molecules would be from calculations and get result that stuff will decompose. A little comment about your homeworks and practical assignments. I'm not sure if Dr. Khan told it, and I'm not sure if I told it. You were finding and recording total energy, right? Why? What is the meaning of total energy? What was the sign of total energy, if you remember your work? Minus. So if it is minus, it means the molecule is stable. That the pieces want to be together. If you would make a single point conclusion and get positive, it means that you explode immediately. So you already get something important. You can close your eyes, construct some molecule, compute total energy. If it will be positive, it means it was wrong choice. If you construct something with negative energy, it means it has right to be.
What does that mean? What is the meaning of negative energy? When energy is negative?
Plus and minus charges attract.
Right.
Therefore, negative energy means things are attracted to each other.
Right. So because of this, the molecule gets
right. And another thing that you can already do right now, if you want to earn money through making computational calculations and you don't want to waste time in class, there is a very broad class of problems where you are already an expert and you can be competitive publishers. You can do research and publish. It is a question of adsorption of like molecules to each other or molecules to the surfaces. It is like the smoke detectors, any sensors, any catalytic reactions deal with molecules sitting on the surface of solid material or departing by through heat. So there is a very standard procedure. Do not need anything more compared to what you already have. So you chop your system surface molecule 1 cm. Then you remove surface
have only mode, second simulations. Then you remove mode and have only third simulations. You find total energy of all three and subtract first minus second minus third, and then report it. This is legitimate information that can be checked on experiment through molecular beam or through thermal desorption, and it is of very important industrial application. Maybe I will design some homework, or maybe you will use it in some projects. More comments. It's already something practical that you can do. Okay, so it's time to do something. I do not want to discourage myself by making votes of like asking who likes equations or who dislikes them, but I have a feeling that it is not your favorite part of the class. And it is very nature. Even professional mathematicians, or at least theoretical physicists, who write equations for the friend, hate equations and still get Nobel Prizes for theory achievement. So one of the champions in this activity was Richard Feynman. Heard this? So he once he was assigned to teaching, and he will be in the group as scientists with first and second quarters. But his main achievement that is being used, not particular research program, but logical, that he found a way to translate most of these long and boring equations that you already started being exposed to the pictographic form. Not as we were doing with Hocus Pocus. This was oversimplified, it was challenging. But he did something that one can do basically anything that one needs for like electrons and interactions and even more complicated problems. Everything into pictorial form. Look on this video. The pictures look this way. So it can be read as the electron with negative charge and electron with positive charge that interact with each other. Positron hit each other and emit gamma form. Right. But these same diagrams can be applied to solid state and to molecules. Considering like two electrons colliding, or electron and absence of hole interacting with each other. So we will partially use these pictures to illustrate the subject that we need to cover today.
I
Yes?
don't understand why this is P plus.
Positron.
Positron, yeah.
Like it's like an electron with positive charge. In like here in the real world, probability is vanishing, but in the vacuum, the space, it's very probable. So we do have two contributions to electron-electron interaction that originates from antisymmetry and Slater determinant that everyone was voting for. Had a little election and everyone is supporting it. Now we are taking consequences. Positive. Nothing bad. So from the terms when number of electrons, number of orbitals coincide, here, here, and there, it gets plus positive term, which means repulsion. From another thing where the number of orbital and index of electron are swapped here and there, one is getting negative attraction. Maybe some of you are having fun watching or eventually writing this equation, but it is not natural. It's more natural to represent this. Okay, I'm in problems. So, how to interpret, how to convert this equation into diagrams? And this is kind of beneficial. So, this is what was before interaction. Before, like, if you assume that electrons are like silly, blind objects that do not see each other, like with dark band on the ice, people in the like, room with lights off, and then no interaction, then suddenly bump into each other, interaction, and then they depart from each other, right? So suppose electrons do the same thing. So this is what was before. Electron number 1 in state 1, electron number 2 in state 2. Here is after. Electron number 1 in state 1, which may or may not be slightly changed. Electron 2 in state 2. In between, there is an interaction. So time, of course, it's reasonable to introduce time. So in these diagrams, so at time 0, you look here and there. Electron 1 in state 1 goes forward in time. Electron 2 in state 2 goes forward in time. When they reach point in space R1 and R2, they experience Coulomb repulsion and repel from each other. So electron 1 repels and goes opposite direction. It doesn't mean literally position, but you can call it R goes this way. Goes negative. This one repels other direction, goes outwards. So they collide and repel. And this is pictographical representation of this equation. Very reasonable, right? You will not object to this. Collide and repel. Now, how to interpret the second part, which is negative? So, originally, we have electron 1 and point 1, electron 2 at point 2. But after interaction, they swap the order. And it looks like they come through each other, and at point 1 we have electron 2, and at point 2 we have electron 1. So they exchange their order. And it is a little crazy thing that is not intuitive for humans to think. It comes out from the concept of later determinism. But if you want to use human intuition, you can just show that lines kind of bypass each other. And still there is an interaction. This is the hardest thing that is counterintuitive. And if you object against it, I do not know what to answer. It's counterintuitive to me as well.
Okay, can you please say that again?
So, for normal, it's just bumping and losing. And here it is, after bumping, they suppose we have a masculine.
or each of us carries driver's license instead of face. We play this masquerade. I keep my driver's license with Dmitry. You keep your driver's license that says Wenderley, and everyone watches us. Then we approach each other, hit shoulder to shoulder, and then swap driver's licenses. And I depart with your driver's license, you depart with me. For everyone, it will look like it's like different object. So what was 1 becomes 2. What was 2 becomes 1. It's the best I can. But again, it is not happen in a real world of macroscopic objects. It's only for quantum world. What a crazy thing that originates from Slater determinant, from principle of antisymmetry, from this feature of electrons.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
So
oh, yes,
there
yes.
is the one charge from the positive switch to the negative.
Why sign is negative?
I mean, there is a 5-1.
Let's check if the let's fix the indices. I think we may want to. Point 2 should be 1. Point 1 should be 2. And after interaction, at point 1 should be 1. And at point 2 should be 2. It was you meant this discrepancy with the image and equation. Is it fixed now?
Same thing.
Huh?
Same thing like this.
Well, the in principle diagrams shouldn't change if you like invert them or make mirror reflection, but it's still they pass through each other. This is the main counterintuitive. So, what is our goal in the remaining time of the meeting? We already have one electron equation, which includes mean field theory. So we need to develop one electron operator for one electron equation that will carry these features. That will carry these features of repulsion and attraction, Coulomb and exchange terms. And after we do it, the rest it will be very simple machinery, just building an algorithm and knowing how to solve it. So, intuitive, Coulomb term. If we design a procedure where we perform integral only over R2, and then we use this thing, which we will call J of R1, to be integrated with over R1. This will be the repulsive term. This equation, or we have integral over R1, and inside this thing there is integration over R2, will be absolutely equivalent to our first diagram, where they bump and go into opposite directions. But this J of R1 is one electron operator instead of two electron operators.
and we are going to use it in one electron Fock equation. So same Coulomb repulsion in the denominator. Good. I was trying to have fun for myself about these equations and practice it for particle in the box, because it is one of the few problems that can be analyzed. And then I'll show some equations for it. If you try to do the same thing for the exchange, the integration only over R2, there will be different R2 here, R2 there, but different orbitals. And in the minus sign. When you were finding the total expectation value, total contributions of Coulomb energy, how many integrals we had? 2. How many integrals we have here in this J operator? 1. So if we need energy, we are missing one integration. Right? Therefore, the diagram that you see is not quite representing this equation. The equation is good, it is what we need. But the diagram corresponds to 2 integrations. Here we have integration over R2, means any positions of this interaction point are possible. And we do not have integration over R1. What should I do to this diagram to remove one integration and to make it corresponding to this equation? So mean field we can consider as structures, black box, red box, that acts on one electron as a repulsive force. So electron bumps in it and repels back. And in this diagram, it looks very, very natural, like you throw a ball into the wall, and it implies some repulsive force, and everything works as it should. So one electron operator acting in point R1. What if we when there is a same orbital here and same point, it's probability distribution and density of charges. If one practices this hocus pocus thing, so one starts from state 1 of the particle in the box, then I did construct this one electron operator just following these equations. And then one needs to do it as for all the following. And after acting to this Coulomb part, it slightly changes the shape. It's still bigger maximum in the center, and it's positive because it's Coulomb attraction. And it is getting a little bigger where first and second orbitals overlap. But it means there is repulsion of the first electron from the second. So this visualization illustrates how electrons are repelled. Now, let's focus on the counterintuitive term for exchange. different different orbitals.
So in this notation, I already placed this argument for the function inside this thing, already implemented the swap. And in order to do the same procedure, intellectual step as we did before, to make correspondence between this equation and this diagram. The diagram has two integrations, the equation has only one. So in order to implement this integration, we need to set up a box. And then the procedure looks like electron approaches this the box, repels it, or maybe get attracted to it, but it changes its shape substantially. It swaps with one of the electrons from this pool. So it is exchange. And if I did try to practice this swap, so we start with lowest orbital experiencing exchange interaction created by a second state in the box. Then instead of one hump, it gets two humps, and the sign gets negative. So it's not only multiplies everything by factor, not only affects energy, but it swaps, it makes from the first state to the second state, if we practice the particles. We are approaching the end of the meeting, and we maybe the last or second last thing, if you ever needed to read the literature, to read textbooks in this subject, as soon as it goes above the minimum basics, all humans are the same. People become really tired to repeat the same equations again. And there is a typical way for physics community is to draw diagrams with straight arrows and polygons. And in there is a sub-community of computational chemists. They have another shorthand notation. Instead of doing diagrams, they are replacing long integrals by brackets. So if in general long interaction uses 4 orbitals, 1, 2, 3, 4, so they may have, instead of 1 and 2, they may have index as a letter. You can take like RSTU, and then depending on whether they are same or different, there is a conventional notation to call it like round bracket, vertical line, another round bracket, and then RSTU. If the first two indices are the same, are RTT, it will be cool. If they are pairwise, with mirror reflection RTTR, 1, 2, 1, it will be exchange. And I did send you a couple of pages from the textbook. You may observe the explanation. There is a high chance that you will never use this notation. It's only if you go into deep derivation and then specialized notation. But just in case, it's better to have this notation. Maybe Rebecca has, if you are dealing with couple of clusters, it's exactly the same community of people who like this notation. Okay. So in the next meeting on Thursday, we will use kinetic and nuclear
one electron energy, Coulomb exchange as one electron swap operator that will help you complete the whole cycle and find wave function from energy of the lowest electrons. Meeting is done. Thank you for your questions. I hope that you will get more enthusiasm with other subjects, and looking forward to see you on Wednesday.